Hey, welcome back, everybody. Just wanted to make a quick video for you to sort of reset for our final run at the end of the semester here. So, there's a few things that I want to do. First, I want to talk to you just briefly about your speech feedback. Second, I want to go through the schedule one more time so that we see what we've got due and when. And then last, I want to touch on what those assignments will look like and what the expectations are for those. So, to start out, let's talk about your speech, your first persuasive speech. First of all, generally not bad. There were some that were really good, some that were all right, but none that were just awful by any means, which that's a great sign. I really, and I mean this, I feel like everyone, no matter what your grade was, there are small things that you can do that will make a big impact for the next go around. So keep that in mind as we move forward. Now, all of the feedback is now posted. So when you go to get your grade, there is a recording. It's just audio where it's me talking about your grade. I didn't have the sheets at home for that, and it seems like even if I had those and sent them to you, it may be easier or for you and for me really to talk you through it. That way it's sort of like we met one on one. And of course, as I say in all of your recordings at the end, if you have questions, please let me know. Don't hesitate to ask. Let me know. We'll set up office hours or whatever we need to do. If we can do it through email, great. If not, we'll work it out. So what I wanted to do is go through sort of the greatest or maybe worst hits of the speeches and sort of talk to you about what were the common errors. Now, again, your feedback is going to vary a little, and you should go by yours specifically. But here is sort of the big ones that I saw. So I want to make you aware of those as well as give you some ideas on how to improve. So the first item, generally speaking, was great. Did you stay on topic? Most of you did. Matter of fact, everyone stayed on topic. Some people, though, weren't as clear as they could have been about their topic. So what I mean is really when you get to that statement of purpose, I want you to say very clearly what you're trying to accomplish, right? Instead of, by the end of this, you should be more informed about the thing, which should make you think differently about the other thing. Just get to it. By the end of this speech, you should agree that this is right or wrong, or this is the way it ought to happen, or that we need to fix this, or whatever it might be. But keep that statement of purpose just clear and short and really just nail it, right? Bring it home. It's okay to be very assertive with this. I mean, that's what we're trying to do here. Because if you've done your job and the attention getter first, then you don't have to worry about throwing people off when you tell them very clearly what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to persuade them to think or do with the speech. So again, don't hesitate on that one. For the second one about organization, those were good overall. Again, two issues that I saw in general, less so three. One would be just to make sure that you hit everything in the outline, but generally that was there. The second one is transitions. Make sure that you have very clear transitions between your parts of the speech. Remember, this is Monroe's motivated sequence. And so there are, five big parts, but the three main points are, your problem, solution, and visualization. Or there's other terms, of course, but we want to know exactly when your problem starts and when it ends, and when that plan to solve that problem begins and when that ends, and when the visualization starts, and then you're wrapping it up. So be explicit with those. With the call to action, some people forgot that one, but one, make sure it's there. Two, make sure it's immediate. So nothing that people could maybe do later or next time you're at the place, go and check this out. It should be right now. So it's probably going to be something online that we can all do. Somebody even had like go to the library and get a book on this topic, which is not a bad idea, except we're in COVID right now. And so it's tough to get to the library for most people. So while that would have worked generally, again, try to be as quick as you can with what can be done, right now. Those should also call to action should also be realistic. So it's something that is achievable and it should be as specific as possible. So don't just tell us, go online and learn more about my topic. Give us a very specific website. Go online and type in this thing, whether it's Google or a web address. Then go here on the website. There you'll find the thing, right? So make it as, again, it's balancing clear but specific as you possibly can. And that's what we need to know. We need to be able to actually do it without the advantage of being able to contact you and say, yeah, it's not there, I can't find it. Also, a couple people did the petition thing, which is fine. That's good. And they said, go to change.org. That was great. But I think three people said, go to change.org and start a petition. That's way too much work. That's not very realistic. People aren't going to do that. This is your topic that you're excited about, so you should start it and then ask them to sign it, just so that we're clear on that. Okay, the third item on the evaluation form is all about sources. Again, generally these were good. Where people didn't do so great, there were usually one of three problems, or maybe all three or two of the three, whatever. One is that you need two peer-reviewed journal articles for this speech, and they needed to be cited clearly as such. So we need to know that these are your peer-reviewed journal articles. If you're worried about that, you can say those words, according to the peer-reviewed source, and then give us the name of the journal. Remember the journal, and then the date, and then tell us the information. Got to have that publication name and date in there. So important. That's really the second thing there. Make sure you've got two peer-reviewed journal articles. The second thing, make sure you cite the name of the journal, not Sage or Springer or the publishers of these journals. Again, go to the when you go online and you go to the database for the library and you find these articles, you'll see it says source, and then it's got the name of the journal right there beside it. The other thing, for some people, some sources just didn't pass the ear test, is what I'm calling it. I mean, they probably were fine sources, but it was like, no more about, I'm looking around my desk in my basement, no more about tape.com. Like, why? That doesn't, I'm sure, again, that information is probably good, but you want to think about your ability to persuade people with that information. Right, so make sure that it's really a quality source, and you can probably find that info somewhere else. So just do a little more searching for that, if that's the case for you. For the fourth item, uses appropriate language, style, jargon, avoids vocal fillers. Most people did fine there. There was some minor bumps. It's not a perfect delivery, but hey, it's not going to be. If you had vocal pauses that were distracting, you have a note about that. But most people just had a couple trip ups here and there. I'm much less concerned with small trip ups than I am with how you recover from those. And remember, when you do have one of these little moments, don't make it a big deal. Don't apologize. Don't stop. You can pause for a moment, but don't just sort of get flustered. Keep going, right? The show must go on, and so just work your way through it. Number 5 is vocal variety in rate, pitch, and pause. You have notes on this depending on what your issue was, if you had one. Here were the big 3. Number 1, too fast. Some people were just running over periods. Some people did it through the entire speech. Other people maybe started really fast and then they would slow down. And if that's you, remember, really try to control that opening. Try to really make it yours. That's going to be more persuasive. It's going to be more appealing to the audience. And it's going to get you a better score, because that's what we're looking for, is a nice, calm, measured delivery. Now, some people went fast throughout that never really slowed down. If that's you, my advice would be to try practicing slower than normal. And if you get your mindset where that is how you're going to speak, but then your nerves kick in and it moves you up a notch, with speed, then you really should go from a little too slow to just right. It's not a perfect science, but you can try it. The second item there that was problematic, some people were a little monotone. Again, sometimes that was just in moments, sometimes it was throughout, but we need to make sure that we have a little more vocal variety so that our audience doesn't get bored. I mean, it's really tough to listen to someone who rarely, if ever, fluctuates or changes their pitch. So we want to make sure that we've got a little bit of variation there. And that brings us to the last point, which is adding energy. That's how you add energy. It's not that you're just up and down all the entire speech, or that you're super speedy, because we just said don't do that. But it's being conversational, and naturally letting your voice shift with your emotions. That will be rate, volume, pitch, everything is going to shift together, just like it does in real life, in actual conversations and that sort of thing. So make sure you've got some energy there, because it's really tough for us as an audience to get excited or motivated about your topic if you don't seem excited or motivated. So don't let that be a hang up for you. The sixth item was clear pronunciation, grammar, and articulation. Most of that was fine. You will notice if you had a note about speed that you may also have a note about articulation, because it made it difficult to understand everything. Generally, though, you were fine on that one. There was a couple grammar things that I caught and made notes, but those are individual, not sort of a big picture issue. So good job on that. The seventh item is about movement, gestures, posture, and eye contact. So here's the situation with this. Movement, I realize, is very limited, so I'm not really looking for movement during your speech. What I don't want to see, though, and I saw it in a couple, were sort of a constant sway, back and forth, or repositioning frequently within the camera frame, that kind of thing. So remember, if you're not going to sort of own the space and move around it, then sort of plant yourself and work on the other elements there, like gestures, for example. Speaking of, this was a big problem for most people. There weren't enough gestures overall. And I'm looking at my camera right now. You see this? You see my fingers here? So I've got my arms on my desk and I'm gesturing, and this is all I'm seeing here, just the tops. And that was the case with a lot of you. Some of you weren't gesturing at all, and you need to add those in. So make sure that they're purposeful. So if it's small, show us small. If it's big, show us big. If it's moving from one place to another, show us that. You can count 1, 2, 3, whatever. Just add some purposeful gestures. Don't throw hand movement in just for the hell of it, like, oh, let me just, he wanted some of this, so let me give it to you. Right? Make sure that it means something. But more often, I think the problem was that you just weren't in the camera angle or in the camera frame. So, real easy solution. Now it's much better. It's much more effective because you can see it a little better. Ideally, you'll get more. And all I did there was go from leaning in a little to sitting up straight. And now I can gesture much more. So if that was you, make sure that you're really checking your position in the camera frame. Practice, record yourself, see how it looks on your screen, and then that's the one that you'll want to sort of lock in, that angle, that view, for the actual recording of the speech that you're going to submit. Let's see, posture I'm not really worried about. There wasn't an issue with that. Eye contact was hit and miss. So if you have a note about eye contact, you can see what that says. But as a general rule, and this is important, hear me on this. For the final persuasive speech, make sure that you can deliver the entire attention getter, not the entire introduction, the entire attention getter and self-introduction, without looking at your notes, right? Without looking at your notes. That is so important when it comes to an attention getter. I usually tell the story of going to buy a car with my wife. Gosh, it's been a while now. It's 2 cars ago for her. But we went to the car lot. She wanted a Nissan Rogue when those things first came out. And so we did our homework and found the one we wanted, the model. She liked this particular color. So we find it, and we go to the lot. Guy comes out and says, oh, can I help you? Yep, we're looking for a Rogue. We like this one. Tell me about it. And the guy said, sure, hold on. Pulls out these notes from his pocket and starts flipping through them till he gets to that model, and then reads me basically what's on the sticker that's on the car already. And I'm thinking to myself, I got to be a little forgiving because I'm a super critic. I mean, this is what I do, right? But I just didn't feel great about it. I felt like I could ask him anything and he'd have been like, oh, yeah, no problem. We got that. Not really knowing the answer. So we told him we'd think about it. We went to another car lot that sold the same cars. There we had a salesperson come out. This time it was happened to be a woman who happened to be a Grand Valley graduate. Maybe that was it. But I asked her the same thing. Yeah, tell me about this one. And she didn't skip a beat, man. She just went right in. Here's this, here's that, here's some features, here's some stuff they don't even put on the sticker that you can see. And we bought the car from her. I mean, it was that easy, and it's all about her seeming to know what she was talking about. I mean, maybe she was BSing me on some things. I don't know, but I remember her seeming very confident, and that mattered. I want to put this much money and investment in a product from someone that I feel like knows what the hell they're doing. So if I'm going to change my attitudes, behaviors, values, that sort of stuff with your speech, you really want to make sure that we feel like at the beginning, from the start, you know what you're doing. Now, if you have a statistic or something in there that's very specific and it's a site, you're really giving us information from somewhere, please do look down at it. I mean, that's important. You could even just point at it. So let me make sure I get this right here. 75% of people. That's great because that shows us that you care about accuracy. But balance that out. So for the last speech, the next speech, make sure that you are not using those notes in the attention getter and self-introduction. The rest of it, use it here and there. Try then the next part that you should work on getting rid of notes completely would be the closure at the very end. Kind of, again, goes with the attention getter. Okay, last item here was the overall evaluation. You'll see points deducted there if necessary, and that's usually for only two reasons. One is time, and really, come on now, this this is a recorded speech, right? So if I record my speech, I know it needs to be 5 to 7 minutes, and I see that it's at 4:50. You could take the point hit, or you could re-record it. So give that some thought. It's up to you. The other reason people lost point there was because they were missing something with Monroe's, and this is very crucial actually. So remember that Monroe's, you have a problem, and you don't not only have sort of a just a problem. You need to really walk us through a couple steps into why it's a problem. So again, I'm going to look around here and use something unrelated to what we've done. So I don't even know if you can see these. Oh, you can. Good. Safety glasses here. I'm in my basement. This is my guitar workshop. So if I said something about the problem is people don't wear eye protection when they are working with power tools. And okay, that seems like an obvious problem, but give us a little more than that. Why is it a problem? Well, because each year it causes this many eye injuries. Here's a source that I'm going to cite with the name and the date. Okay, well, that's not my eyes. Why do I care? Well, because a lot of times these folks who are hurting themselves may not have insurance, and that becomes a big problem for our medical community. And if they don't have insurance, they still need to go and get help. Maybe they can't pay for it, so who gets to pick up the bill? You do if you have a job because you're a taxpayer. Also, what if you blind yourself? Now, can someone go on disability? Who pays for disability payments? You do as a taxpayer. Now, let's just be a little more human about it. Now, if this person can't see, think of all the things they're missing. They might still be able to drive, but they won't have the depth perception that they once had because they won't have, two fully functional eyes. Maybe they go, God forbid, completely blind and they're unable to work. They're going to have to go through training programs that may be sponsored by the government, which is you. You see where I'm going with this, right? Get to the big problem, then get very specific. That's what we're really looking for. Similarly, with the plan, you can give us this overview. So the simple overview, wear safety goggles. Great, moving on. No. Right, so what you'll want to do there is tell us your plan to make sure everyone uses safety glasses. Now, you might talk about OSHA, occupational safety, something in the workplace. So you could say, OSHA's already made this a rule that you have to wear these and companies get fined. But that's not where we're seeing the problems anymore. Now it's at home. So what we need to do is, I don't know, could we make every power tool that is sold come with a pair of safety glasses. Maybe it increases the price by $1, and that's what we can do. I mean, like, these are super cheap. These are $1, but I'd rather have that than not. Even with glasses, you got people that don't wear that do wear glasses, and they think they don't need those. So here's my plan to do that. We're going to make every power tool come with safety goggles. That will add $1 on to the price of every power tool. Now, the government, let's say, my plan, can make these glasses at the cost of 50 cents a pair. Then they can split the profit with the company who's making the power tool. So everybody, the government, you, and the company, let's say, what do I have here? Black and Decker, each get a quarter every time something's sold. That money goes right back into the system, and now everybody's happy. We're making money, people are safe. Now, the visualization. Wait, let's go back to the plan. Can we still make sure everybody wears these? No, we can't. But it's at least making it available. Now, the visualization, no pun intended on that one. Anyway, sorry, dad joke. But we've got people who have fewer eye injuries. We have safer tool use overall. We have lower hospital medical bills because people aren't getting hurt as much. You see where we're going with this. Make sure you get into some detail there. Again, it doesn't have to be this big policy changing, sweeping speech where we need to invoke Article 1, Section 3, Paragraph 9. I don't expect that. But give us some detail so that we really understand a step-by-step process for you to make this happen. So again, with ours, step 1, make it mandatory they're sold. Step 2, start the government producing these. Step 3, include them with every power tool and split the profit. Step 4, we're going to reinvest the money into this project. You see where we're going. So be careful and use it thoroughly. Use Monroe's thoroughly. All right. Yeah, other than that, that's what I have for you. So that's sort of the evaluation overview. Now, let's look ahead just briefly at what's coming up here. Let me go over here. Okay, here's the updated schedule. Now, I realize that it says Monday 11:30, something's due. Today is Monday 11:30, and nothing is due. Remember, all of our stuff, as always, throughout the semester, is due Thursday before midnight. So for this Thursday, you need to turn in your PowerPoint. If you haven't already, go back and watch the video that I posted just before Thanksgiving, which there's two actually. There's one that walks you through some basics of PowerPoint, which is on a PowerPoint, it's a voiceover PowerPoint. Then there's an actual demo video where I go and take the persuasive outline that we did for this past speech and then make a PowerPoint based on that outline. And that's what you're doing for this assignment. So that's what's due this week. So this Thursday, PowerPoint. There's a template up. Again, it's not much of a template because it just has labels in the notes sections that says, attention getter, image, a title slide, preview, that kind of thing. But it's going to help you make sure you have what you need. So watch those videos. Then next week, your persuasive speech 2 is due. And the way this will work, and this is very important, so hear me out on this. You're going to need to download Zoom or something similar. Then you're going to do what I am doing here, because you're going to give the speech and you're going to record your screen. So if you don't know how to do that, if you have a Mac, it's pretty easy. You can go to the Speech Labs website and there's a video on how to do that. If you have a PC, something like that, then Google it. There's different ways for different approaches, different programs you can get. But you're going to want to screen record with audio, of course, so that we can see you up in the corner somewhere speaking to us, so we can see gestures and all that good stuff. But we also want the majority of the screen to be the PowerPoint. And so that's the idea for persuasive speech 2. It's the same speech you just gave with 2 exceptions. 1, you're going to make the edits that you got from the feedback here just now and in your own individual feedback. And two, it's going to have the PowerPoint. So that is the idea there. Also, due by next Thursday, you need to go to the speech lab if you've not already for a persuasive speech. Again, if you have gone, that's great. You can go back and get bonus points. There's no problem there at all. But if you've not gone for a persuasive appointment yet, go before you turn in your next speech. And that's, again, next Thursday. Okay, so any details we need to cover? I think we've done that with discussing what's coming up. The retrospective, stay tuned for that. That will more than likely become an extra credit assignment, but we will see how that plays out as we get closer and see if we have any more bumps in the road that we need to have flex time for. Okay, so with that, good job overall on your first persuasive speech. There's always room for improvement, and again, small changes, small little bitty tweaks can make a big difference overall on your speech and the grade. So look at your own feedback. Make sure that you're watching the PowerPoint videos, and I think you're going to be okay with this. But of course, go to the speech lab, ask me, email me, set up an appointment if you need to, and we'll make sure you get through this. All right. Thanks for hanging in there. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving and were smart and safe. And I will talk to you next time.